G'day YouTubers and welcome to another video. In this video I'm taking my son-in-law out to see if we can get him some fish and maybe some crabs as well. He'd been out with me a few times but not for quite a long time, a year or two, maybe 2 years. He's been very busy with work and family life, but things have settled down a bit for him now, so he might get him out a little bit more often. We'll see how that goes, but the key thing today is to get him a feed, make sure he gets a few fish and maybe a few crabs if we're lucky. I know it's late in the season, but I'm going to try my theory that the crabs are going to be in deeper water. It sort of worked for me last time. I didn't do too badly, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper again and see how that goes. My plan today is to drop the crab pots. We've got 8 of them, there's 2 of us on board. So my plan today is to drop them between Raby Bay and Wellington Point in 5 to 7 metres of water at low tide. So given the tide range today, dropping them at 5.5 to 7 metres at low tide, we'll put them in about 7 metres to 8.5 metres at high tide. And hopefully that's going to work out pretty well for us. And while we're giving them a soak, we'll go and see if we can get some fish up in the Rouse channel. Don't want to go too far from the pots. It's only a short trip, we'll be back around lunchtime. Fishing around the Rous Knob should get us something. It's supposed to be a really good day for fishing. All the Solunar charts are saying great day for fishing. Moon's in the right spot, tide's coming in, should be good. Just because all the things are in your favour doesn't mean it will be. We'll see how it goes. And while I've been talking here, the video's been playing, showing the sounder screen as we move up between Raby Bay and Wellington Point, dropping the pots. If you're really keen to get an idea where we drop the pots, you can zoom in on the track. There's a track we followed somewhere in the video. When you find that, you can zoom in on it and see where we dropped them. The spot isn't important. In my opinion, I never keep spots for dropping crab pots. I keep depth, and I drop them in a general area at a particular depth, and I think the depth is the important part. It was too dark to do anything about showing you how I bait the pots this time. I've done it in a previous video, so if you want to see how I bait them, you can refer back to that. Fish frames work well. I use them if I've got them. But I generally do best on Mr. Bait's mullet. Freeze that up, cut it in half, and let it thaw out in the pot. Put a few additives in there to help attract the crabs. Anyway, have a look at my previous video if you want to see how I do that, and I have shown it in other videos in the past as well. On with the video. Now this is some video from the Time0 unit as we come up to the Rous Knob. It's in the Rouse channel. I've done lots of videos on that in the past, showing you the spots for it and everything. If you have a look in my Moreton Bay series, you'll see the fishing spots around the Rous Knob. There's no actual spot around the Rous Knob. I'll explain that in a minute. We'll just do a little bit of an orbit around it in 3D so you can get an idea of what it is. It's more or less a very steep hill in the middle of nowhere. Big drop-offs on a couple of sides of it, not so much on the other side. But the fish love to hang around it, particularly the mackerel. You'll catch nice big snapper around it. All sorts of things, but often I'll get mackerel around it more than anything else, floating a pilly out. Trolling around it can also be very productive, but there's often so many baits sitting on it that it's not very easy to troll around them, and in that case you're better off going somewhere else. I've got to say that having this 3D view, or everything about the Time0 unit, having that just marvellous for understanding what the bottom's like and seeing where the fish are going to hold. Really a game changer. I'll also just play this video of how I find the fish around the Rous Knob. You often find fish holding on the top, but I generally find that they're really small and not worth the effort. But I look around the edge of the Rous Knob. That's where I find the bigger fish usually. Not a hard and fast drill, but it works most of the time for me. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going around the edge of the drop-off. And as soon as I find some fish in a decent conjugation, I'll spot lock on them and see what we can do. And just here I've come across a school of fish, mostly bait fish, but the Furuno thinks there's some bigger fish amongst them. I found it to be very good on its picking fish size most of the time. I do suspect that when there's a very dense school of bait, that sometimes it misinterprets that as a larger fish. But looking at the sounder here, I think it's right. I think there are a few bigger fish down there. So this is where I'm going to spot lock, see what we can do. You're on. Beauty. Big or small? What is he? A little mackerel or something? Yep. Alright, I'll have the net ready in just a sec. Don't risk losing him. Hey? Oh, shit.
He was probably that big.
Yeah, he looked legal.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll put the net up here now. We've lost one. Hey?
I tried to be calm with him.
Did you let the line go slack?
Huh?
Did the line go slack?
No.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, they're not touching the squid, that's for sure. Well, I'm landing one. Yep. At least I got mine on board. Well, Anthony got onto the first fish and we lost it at the boat. I didn't have the net ready in time, which is a bit of a shame. I have a tendency to do that. Even when I'm out by myself, I forget the net until it's too late. Anyway, it looked like a legal mackerel. I'd guess between 55 and 60 centimetres, but the day was still young. Nevertheless, it was disappointing, as you can guess from the beeps I had to put into the video. No, he won't live long. I don't think he was hooked through the gills, but I put him down as a live bait, see how he goes.
I thought that was a pretty nice fish, Paul.
Well, it wasn't too bad. Wish we had got him. So I do that a lot though. I forget to put the net together until after I've got one on. There's something jumping over there. Yeah. Over there. Shit. Right. Oh, they stopped. It's pulled down. They stopped. I must stay up for long. I was going to throw a lure into the middle of them. Yeah, I think I have. Nothing big. Starfish. I got a starfish. Now this was an interesting thing. I've caught them a few times before on a line, but not very often. I pulled up this starfish. Threw him back, of course. But it was interesting. This heavy weight on the end of the line felt like I might have picked up a bit of coral. I wasn't far wrong. But there you go. There he is, back in the water. We fished here for a while longer. I don't think Anthony hooked up onto anything else, and I landed a few of these little things. I tried dropping one down as live bait, hoping that an injured fish down there would attract one of the bigger ones, but that wasn't to be either. It was really hard to get the baits past all the bait fish down there. They were attacking the baits as soon as it was in the water, and we were getting baited within a minute or so. Just kept pulling the lines up and rebaiting them, and the bigger fish weren't paying it any attention. I guess they had plenty of food down there that was alive and kicking. Who knows? It was supposed to be a good bite day. It didn't turn out that way except for little fish. That happens sometimes. But the day still wasn't over. We still had a few options left. Just make sure we're not going to run into anything while I set it all up. if we're going to hit something, just yell and pull the throttle off.
Which is backwards?
Yeah, back to the middle.
Yeah. There's a quite someone comes through.
Where? Oh, okay. Let me know if it gets closer. So, not being able to get any bait past the small fish to catch any of the bigger ones, we decided to have a troll around, see if we could do any good trolling. And for that, I have Mr. Bates' trolling boards. Got the 5 metre one here, that's 5 metres deep, and threw that out so I could have a troll around the Rous Knob because there weren't too many baits here on this particular day. I thought it was a good opportunity to have a troll around the Rous Knob, and given the way the fishing was going, we couldn't do any worse. And the fact that we'd already pulled up 1 mackerel indicated we might do a lot better trolling. So that's what we did. And that worked out well for us. It didn't take very long, and I got Anthony hooked up on a 65 centimetre spotty mackerel, the first fish of the day. Always a good feeling to get that first fish on board. And of course, since it had been so long since he'd been out fishing, Anthony was pretty stoked about it as well. Okay, put him in there on ice now. I've got to bleed him. Up here. I'll just play this little bit of video from the Rous sounder just to give you an idea of where we're trolling around. I did go over the top of the Rous Knob as part of the circle, or yeah, sort of over the top, over the shallower section. Of course, you had to go around over that to come back around the edge of the Rous Knob, and that's what I was doing. I was wanting to hit those deep drop edges, and that was the main area I was trolling around. When I was going over the top of the knob, it wasn't so much for the trolling as trying to get a bathymetry reading all around the area for fish tracks. So going over the top of the Rous Knob was about covering the area and getting all the bathymetry readings. Going around the edges was about trolling for some fish. I said earlier that I usually find the best fish off the edge of the drop-off and not up on top, and I stand by that statement. However, the key word there is usually. In this case, you can see there's a few decent fish in amongst some smaller fish. Just a very concentrated group there. The Rous set up to put the estimated size of the fish on the screen if it's over 40 centimetres. And those numbers do obscure the returns a little bit. Sometimes it's better to turn the numbers off and just look at the returns. But in this case, I think I can tell that the returns underneath, there are a couple of big fish in there amongst some smaller ones. But it is a very concentrated little group of fish. If you wanted to fish this group, you'd have to be pretty well pinpoint on it to get your bait down. And probably jigging on it would be a better option if you can stop your bait in the right spot. Yeah, there's too much leader on those trolling boards. You've got to grab that leader and hand bind it in after that. Yeah.
Good one. Oh, well, you're eating fish?
No, you eat it.
No? No,
I still got that bark I've left.
Okay.
Yeah. You have
lead all right?
Yeah. Yeah, bled
How
up.
do you feel it? Just...
Yeah, same as any other fish.
No?
Same as any other fish. Catch a fish up, warm
you don't
up.
like mackerel steaks?
Oh, you can if you want. I don't worry when they're that size. I just fill with it.
Yeah.
The bigger ones you can, but
yeah.
I don't reckon it's worth.
Just go behind the gill and just go.
Yeah. You know what it feels like to catch a mackerel on one of these now?
Yeah.
Your main drag is on your board while your board's underwater. If your board goes back down, that's where you get most of your weight.
Yep.
The mackerel's pretty streamlined.
It's definitely better when you catch a fish.
Yep.
You only need to catch a couple, you know, right? Like with that.
Yeah, a couple of fish is all you need. Get a feed, give you an excuse to come out again next time.
Yeah.
When you bring in the net, if you haven't got a net ready and you're not big enough for the gap, keep the weight on him and pull him straight over the side. Yep. If you take the weight off the line at all, you'll put that hook right out, right at the base. It didn't take too much longer and we got onto another one. This time it was a bit bigger and a lot fatter, a lot better condition on him. This one went out to 70 centimetres and a really nice fat mackerel. So again, Anthony landed that one. And as you can see from the smile on his face, again, he was pretty happy about it. I'll just digress a little bit to show you the path that I trolled around the Rous Knob, and you can also see the bathymetry data that we picked up for that area. The main area that we were trying to hit there was the edges of the drop-off where the green and the blue meet. The blue is the deeper water. You can see in the legend at the top of that window, the red is the shallowest water and then goes down to the purple being the deepest. So that boundary between the green and the blue, I was trying to stay out just a little bit from that over the blue area and troll through that. Those bits of red up the far end is where I went a little bit too far, and we got over some really shallow ground. Well, really shallow is, 4 metres, but didn't mean to go up that far. Just got there by looking at the trolling lines more than I was looking at where we were. Given that we're only doing 6 knots and we had trolling lines out, you have to take a while to turn the boat because you don't want the trolling lines to get all tangled up. That's why we're over that area. Normally I wouldn't go over that area. I try to turn well before we get there. But sometimes you get distracted and you're looking at the trolling lines and oops, gone too far. That happens. In this shot I've drawn a yellow line around the edge of the Rous Knob that I check first. I generally find the fish around this edge. Not to say that it's right on the edge, it could be away from the edge quite a bit, but this is the drop-off sides that I do check first. You do find fish in some other areas around the knob from time to time. I wouldn't say consistently. For consistency, I find them around these edges, but at other times I have found them in random little pockets. You've just got to go and look around. I can't think of a single time where I've gone there and haven't found some fish on the sounder. Whether I can get them to bite or not's another question, but I'd say there's nearly always some fish hanging around there, big or small. We continued trolling around the Rous Knob for about another half hour, 35 minutes. Didn't pick up anything else, so I decided it was time to move on. We only had an hour and a bit before we wanted to go and pick up the pots, so I figured what we'd do is go over and troll around the Hope Banks, head down through the Peel Basin, around the mouth of the Lazarette, and by the time we'd done that, it'd be time to head back and pick up the pots. And this is just a little shot of trolling around the Hope Beacon. You can see some of the bathymetry tracks from previous trips, but we did a circle around the Hope Beacon, usual spot where I generally pick something up, but there's nothing there today. Again, surprising given the good Solunar forecast. Now I'm just going to play this little section of video from the Peruno, just as we go around through the mouth of the Lazarette gutter. So you can see the big rise, that really small steep hill that rises up and they've got the red buoy sitting on it in the mouth of the Lazarette. Now it's just a really short, sharp rise. You can get quite close to it safely. Obviously if you're fishing too close to it you need to watch out that the fish doesn't wrap you around the buoy and break you off. But there you go, that is the rise down there. You can also get a really good look at that hill, or that minor mountain, whatever you want to call it, at the mouth of the Lazarette in this view in the time zero screen. You can see it in the side vision on the bottom left-hand side. You can see it in the 3 view, left, right and centre in the top right-hand side. And you can see it even better in the 3D picture in the bottom right. Gives you a good idea of the area just around there that you might want to fish. Of course, fishing any area isn't just a matter of finding the structure, it's about knowing what tide to fish, where the fish are going to hold at a particular tide, what tide they'll bring the bait there, etc, etc. A lot of factors involved, but finding the structure is the first step. Anyway, once we'd trolled through the mouth of the Lazarette gutter, it was time to go and pick up the crab pots. So I hauled the trolling lines in, we put on a little bit of speed to go and see if we managed to get a feed of crabs for the evening. This is the track we followed, out of Raby Bay up towards Wellington Point, dropping the pots. From there over to the Rouse Channel, fishing around the Rous Knob, back out of there to troll around the Hope Banks, down to the Lazarette, and then back over to pick up the pots again. Yep.
You hit a marker here? Did you hit a marker or something? Or you know what I mean, to get close to it?
I just set the autopilot to take us to where we dropped it, the mark I put in this morning.
Oh, so it just drove you in then,
yeah? Yeah. Oh, no, not. I did that manually. It just took us to where we could see it. That's not looking too good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting better. Measure a orange thing. If it's orange, it will be. Oh, get your arms forward, you stupid thing. Big legal. I got careless last time and grabbed one in the wrong spot. Ah, shit. Don't keep. No, just not. Shit. Half a millimetre. Couple, 3, 4, 5 maybe.
So this time they're further up.
Yeah. See how we go. Some of them are small, definitely. That one up there's a keeper. I'm not sure about this one. He's a bit feisty. This won't be a keeper. Definitely.
Go on, buddy.
Pull the other one.
Hello?
Pull the other side of it.
This one?
No, the other side of his claw. Hang on to it. Pull. Just. That's it now. That's it. Okay, now open him up. Alright, you got to pull him forward.
Is that an automatic spout fishing rod?
No, it's a patrolling you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, we've got a few goodies in here, so you're right, it is the best.
So you're further up at the moment. So maybe as winter comes, they're getting further up.
Well, yeah, maybe. I think they probably just were further up, but oops, daisy. Might try that again actually. That worked.
Still as well.
Yeah. Normally you don't do it into a bucket. You normally bring a tub, but it takes up too much room on the bait. Oops, shit. Yeah, that's why you don't do it into a bucket. Yeah, I know there's one in there still, but I want to get these out before they get somewhere where I can't get them. Yeah, here, keeper. I'll get him after. Just sort these. Geez, this isn't such a good idea.
Yeah, come and get you from every angle.
Yeah, he's too small to bother even measuring. This is a definite keeper. You just grab them like that between those two last legs. They can't bite you then.
Yep.
As long as you don't let go. If you get timid about it and let go, they'll bite you. Ooh, a bit muddy. And one. One and a fish. You might be small. Oh, awfully muddy bottom here. Awfully muddy bottom just here. Yeah, little squire. Yeah. That's what the others were too, I guess. Measuring. Oh no, he's legal. I think he's got something in him. He's got a few in him. Oh, mother load. He's got the mother load. He's got the mother. Oh, and we got a muddy.
Muddy?
Yep. Big buck muddy.
Wow.
But they demolished my bait bag. You mongrel, I'm going to enjoy eating you. Not only demolished my bait bag, they took my oil container. Crushed it. Oh no, there it is.
Well, it's all worthwhile now that money can eat for.
Oh, I'll go your halves.
No. Take it. I got everything else.
Oh.
Oh, Kelly mackerel for.
Yeah.
Has made out of money yet for a while?
Yeah. Not for a while, but he's had them.
That's a nice money, isn't it?
It is. It's a beauty.
Well, you got something really good.
Yeah.
Do you like muddies for the sandies?
Oh, yeah. Sort of. I think I prefer the sandies, but sometimes you get a good muddy is good.
This one shouldn't be too dirty.
I think we need to try the bucket again.
Oh, we don't want to do that with the muddy, do you?
I think he knows I'm trying to get him. Well, he is.
You've been very stubborn.
I just kept these for me and my wife, of course. Gave the rest of the crabs to the decky and the fish we caught. This should be a nice big full one. Geez, he's hard there. No press at all. So I'm hoping he's all really full. These are too, of course. Funny thing is, there was no females, no jennies at all, not a single jenny in any of the pots, although we threw back quite a lot of undersized bucks. And I mean, they're just undersized by about 1/2 millimetre or two, up to 2 millimetres. Not very much under at all. So another week or two, they'll be full size. Anyway, that's it. That's what I brought back from the trip. Decky and his family's going to have a really good meal tonight. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I make my own ice in the bait freezer and take that out with me in the esky. When we catch something, put some seawater in there, makes a really, really cold brine, keeps everything nice and fresh. Although it is a bit hard to see exactly how much you got in there. And I tell you what, your hand gets really cold if you've got to feel around and count the crabs because you've lost count putting them in there. Nevertheless, keeps them nice and cold. They're all nice and stunned or dead by the time you get home, ready to clean and cook. And there's the 2 mackerel we got to take home. I gave you the sizes before, and as you can see, the larger one of the 2 had a lot better condition on him. Nice fat mackerel. And the daughter jumped in and cleaned the crabs. And not only that, she filleted the fish as well. Did a really good job of it all. She cooks her crabs the same way we do. Clean them up first, bring your salt water to the boil, throw the crabs in, let it come back to the boil, then turn it down to a simmer for 10 minutes, take it out and straight into an ice water slurry. Again, salt water slurry. And that's how they come out, all nice and clean and cooked, ready to eat. Then she worked a magic with the fish, cooked in garlic butter and dill. Enjoyed by the whole family, I'm told. All the kids were really impressed with it, and they want Dad to go out and catch some more. We'll see how the weather treats us and the stars align in the future. And just a shot of this Queensland lollipop to show you how full the mud crab was. And I'll tell you what, it tasted pretty good too. My wife and I had half of it each. She got the lollipop as well, but she doesn't really like the claw meat. It's got a different flavour and texture to the body meat. She prefers the body meat. What I could have done is been a real gentleman and offered to have the claws for her and she have the body, but to be honest, I like the body meat too. Anyway, we had half a crab each and we both enjoyed it. That's the main thing. And that's it. Thank you for watching the episode. As I record this epilogue, I've got no idea how long the video is going to run for because I haven't edited it together yet. But I hope you got something out of it. We had a really enjoyable day on the water. Anthony's like me. He's happy to be out on the water just cruising around trolling. Whether we get something or not, the fish are a bonus. It's just being out in the water and relaxing. That's the key part of it all. Now, I do like to fish, and I do love to get a bite. It's a bit boring if you don't get a bite. But as long as that's happening, if I get a fish, I get a fish. If I don't, I don't. Weather wasn't great when we first went out, but it improved during the day. Wind was up a bit above forecast at first. But that happens. You just got to take a guess and decide whether it's going to calm down or get worse. And on this particular day, we got lucky. So anyway, that's a wrap. Until next time, good fishing.